Hello and welcome to Trout Talk here on Saga 960 AM. I'm Brendan Lang along with Mikey K, Mike Karafilidis, two broadcasters for the Brampton Steelheads. I think episode number 15 today on
You sure?
Trout Talk of the season. Pretty sure it's episode number 15. I checked before and I've already forgotten, but I'm going to go with episode number 15 on Trout Talk today. All right, we can jump into it. Before we do that, though, it's been a couple weeks since we've seen each other on Trout Talk. Mikey, you know, we had a little bit of a week off there, but now we're back on it. We're back talking to the players, talking about Steelheads hockey. So over those 2 weeks, anything fun happen? Anything big that needs to be brought to the table here?
No, absolutely not. I was we didn't have a broad. Let's tell everybody we didn't have a broadcast last week because I was really feeling really in the bag last week, really sick, and you went away last week too, so we didn't have a broadcast last week. So yeah, other than that, what's there to say really? I mean, just at the rink and taking care of family stuff, and that's about it, right? I know we just lots of stuff going on behind the scenes. They had the top prospects game, which we'll talk about. The the CHL USA National Development Program, whatever, uh, against each other. So which was kind of fun to watch. And other than that, not much. Nice to watch the Cleveland Browns win on a Thursday night there.
Oh my
So
goodness, the
hey,
snowball.
that's right. That's right. And for anybody that says that we got lucky, I don't think so. I
you
don't
got
think so.
you got the hat on today too.
Yeah.
You're
Yes.
supporting the team. Hey, Jameis Winston came in, and you know what?
Hey,
Playing some good football.
that's the way she goes. Yeah, he played really, really well that game. And, it was a snowball. Yeah. But uh, you got to learn how to win. And that was, they did a good job keeping those Pittsburgh fans in their seats in Cleveland. And I don't understand the Cleveland fans selling their tickets to the Pittsburgh fans and making it loud over there. You know, and I still, for the life of me, don't understand that. But that's the way it goes anywhere.
Yeah, people trying to make money at any
That's
cost.
the way it
So
goes. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, no, it's understandable.
That's about it
Yeah,
for me. How about yourself? I know you went away the next
I
trip there, so
I did. Yes, yeah, I went to Michigan. We talked about it a little bit, I think, on the
yeah.
last episode that I was going away. But
Hmm.
yeah, I went to Michigan, watch Michigan Wolverines game. First time I'd seen football in the U.S. of any kind. Really, I think no, I guess I have been to a few hockey games in the U.S., but checking it out, I mean, it has a different vibe over there. We were just talking off the air before,
Hmm.
just sports in general. I mean, like everybody around the town was wearing Michigan gear, and it's like you go in the grocery store and everyone's got it on, and they've got like posters all over the grocery
That's
store,
awesome.
and it's like, wow, this is crazy. And too, like it's college too. Like you, obviously, we still hold pro sports in a high regard in Canada, but college sports is kind of not the same, obviously not the same level that it is in the US. I mean, in some places it's bigger than pro sports. So
Hmm.
it was pretty cool to see. Good tailgate, got to meet a few people from down there, and actually tailgated in a high school sort of grassy area right next to the university, and it's the same high school that both Harbaugh brothers went to. So
Oh
that was pretty
wow!
cool. Yes, also Bob Seger, the musician, went there as well.
Oh wow!
So
Bob
some,
Seger.
that's right, some
I don't know
history
who
at
that
the.
is.
Oh, don't know Bob Seger. Okay, well, yeah,
I know Bob
musician.
Saget is.
Yeah, yeah. Bob Saget did not go to that school. But Bob Seger did. Anyways, yeah. So
Oh, that's
just
awesome.
some, history there. It was pretty cool. And
Yeah,
then like, there was just under 110,000 people at the game. Awesome
amazing.
to see the size of the place. It
Mm.
really looked
The big
cool. Michigan
house.
ended up, yeah, the big house. That's right. Michigan ended up winning 50-6. I think it was Northwestern. So not a great game, but just cool to be part of the atmosphere. So.
Oh, that's awesome. I mean, that's amazing. I mean, I'm glad you got to experience that. You know what I mean? Once you experience that once, you're probably going to want to go back again and again and again for sure in the future. You know what I mean? So I know that's the way it was with me when I first went to my first NFL game. But it's a different ball game, just like you
Yeah.
said. But I've never been to a game with 100,000. I've never been to a college game, so that's my next thing. So that's you did it, man. And keep that memory. Yeah, keep that memory. Like that's great. Good. Glad you had
Yeah.
a great time.
No, it was a great time, and I know over the weekend when I was gone, the Steelheads were having a pretty good time as well.
Hmm.
Couple wins, couple big wins for the Brampton Steelheads. Let's get into those games right now. I think I was there for the Friday game.
Right.
And we get to the arena and everything was kind of, everything seemed like last minute. Everybody was scrambling. You had a bunch of moves being made. You had Chase Lefebvre getting there like an hour before the game, uh, getting ready to play for his new team. And he played extremely well, I should say, uh,
Mm-hmm.
considering all the circumstances. And then you got a couple new signings on the back end and all that. Kind of a scramble getting everything ready to go, but obviously a big win against the Niagara Ice Dogs team that's been pretty good so far this year.
Yeah, that was a nice little bounce back win because they lost to the Erie Otters on that Wednesday night by the score of 7-4. And Erie, great bounce back win. Because some guys making their OHL debut that were signed from the OJ, Steven Alexander, or excuse me, Alexander Steven, Graham McCauley, and we already talked about the trade with Chase Lefebvre, which was kind of cool. Got a chance to interview him, and pretty much they just put his stuff in a van, and away he went. And as soon as I got to the arena, I remember texting you guys again, but weren't there yet, and then we all text each other saying, "Oh, Chase Lefebvre, what is he? Oh, he's playing today. Okay, so that was kind of cool, but." Good pickup, Chase Lefebvre. They needed that overager, as James Richmond said, because they were going with two at the time. Stevie Lescovar is out of the lineup. Spencer Silva was back in. That was huge. But those the two guys that got in the lineup, that Alexander Steven and Graham McCauley, were impressive as well. I thought they
Yeah.
really played well on the back end, and especially, I mean, Alexander Steven could have scored his first OHL goal that game. So kept coming, man. He just found that open space and he just shot it wide. I think he got a little excited, but it happens, right? I mean,
Yeah. Yeah.
whatever, had that wide open seam there. But Graham McCauley really good in his own zone as well. Both of them were good in their own zone, and they gave the team a little bit of a jump, and it was a huge win, big win in a shootout, especially over Owen Flores. Last time they played each other, we know what happened with the fight, and the Niagara Ice Dogs winning that game.
Yeah, it was great to see those two guys get their first opportunity. You talk about Alexander Steven. I mean, he's a guy who has put up quite a few points in the OJ as a
Mm-hmm.
defenseman. I think he had like 32 points in 20
Burlington
some games.
Cougars.
Yes,
Yeah.
Burlington Cougars. Yeah, yeah. Also a Brampton native, so that's pretty cool for him to be able
Yeah.
to get playing in his hometown to start things off. And then I think we should talk a little bit more in depth about the Chase Lefebvre trade, because at the time when he gets brought over, you talk about the overagers. I mean, they were going with zero at one point because
Mm-hmm.
Sova and Lescovar were out of the lineup, and James Richmond said, he didn't want to let that go on for too long, and you can see an immediate impact that Lefebvre has made since he's gotten in the lineup.
Yeah, I mean, he's a good two-way player, right? And asking him at the intermission, what do you bring to this team? And we all know what he brings to this team, but here's a guy that won the uh, an OHL championship with the Peterborough Petes 2 years ago. So he's got that. He's got that championship experience. He's a great two-way player as well, and those are the kind of guys that James Richmond likes. And interviewing him, you could tell he's a good kid and whatnot. So he fits in. I think he fits in pretty well with this lineup, especially with his two-way game and the championship experience. This is the kind of guy that this team needs.
All right, so we've got Owen Cartwright, Steelheads, a rookie defenseman, coming up next. Quickly before we get to him, though, Mikey, I wasn't at the game on Sunday.
Hmm.
The Sault Ste. Marie Greyhounds, obviously another big win for the Steelheads.
Yeah, huge. I mean, hat trick, first career OHL hat trick for Kieran Witkowski. A hat trick for Carson Rakoff as well in that game. They got off pretty much. I'll keep it short and sweet. They got off to a really slow start. I thought against the Sioux Greyhounds, Brady Martin, scoring. They were getting outshot. They were getting outplayed, and all of a sudden, halfway through that first period, all of a sudden the things just switched, and then the Steelheads really started to take it to the Sioux Greyhounds. But really happy for Kieran Mikowski that game as well for his first career OHL hat trick, and he's really been playing well lately, and the puck has really been finding his stick, and he's got a real heavy shot when you love to see it, and good for him. And Rakoff just continues hot, and those three, Rakoff, Misa, Martone, 4 assists for Martone that game as well. C'est la vie. That's it, man. It was great.
Yeah,
It was a good
yeah.
game.
It's I think you're right about Witkowski too, because of the injuries and kind of where they've had to shift in the lineup, he's gotten a big opportunity here, and he's seized it, playing really well. Even other names like McGregor Richmond on that third line center. You have Gabe Sherrod, who's playing some good hockey right now. Mason Zabeski's playing his best hockey of his season as well. So that's good to see with those guys. All right, we're going to take a break here on Trout Talk on Saga 960 AM, and we will be back right after this. Hello and welcome back to Trout Talk here on Saga 960 AM. Brendan Lang along with Mikey K, Mike Karafilidis, two broadcasters for the Brampton Steelheads. And now I'd like to welcome onto the program rookie defenseman for the Brampton Steelheads, Owen Cartwright. Owen, thank you for coming on. How are you doing?
Hey guys, thanks for having me.
Hey, no problem. Thanks for coming on. And
Yeah.
you're in the dark there. You look like you're in the corner there. Not
Yeah.
sure. I guess you're in your billet house. You're in a secure corner so nobody can hear you. Is that what's going on, Owen?
No, I'm tucked away in the basement right now. So
Gotcha. I understand. You're in the doghouse then. You in the
Yeah.
doghouse or something? Okay.
Exactly.
Gotcha.
Mikey just mentioned, I guess we can kind of start with this because we talked a little bit earlier in the season, and you said that you're building with Carson Rykov. Is that right?
So in the past couple of weeks, some things have changed up, and Carson actually moved out. So I actually just got Chase, the 04 that just came in. So he
Oh,
just moved in a couple days ago, and
wow.
we're getting all used to the new house, and seems like a good guy, and it's going to be good for the team.
Well, maybe talk about that a little bit. You can start with talking about Rykov, obviously in your first go around in the OHL, getting to start things out with him, and then obviously now Chase Lefebvre, another guy who's we were just talking about him, has won an OHL championship. He's a veteran in the league. What's it kind of been like to live with those guys and kind of sharing their experiences with you?
Yeah, it was pretty cool. It's just like the first time living away from home, so Carson was pretty good with kind of helping me make that big adjustment and kind of seeing him and see what he does every day, and it was pretty cool. And Chase is the same thing. He's really consistent and his routines every day, and watch him at practice. He works his bag off, and he's going to be a pretty good addition to the team.
all right. So you get drafted to the Steelheads. You first sign the paper. You're signing the paper now. You're in James. Okay, remember back. You're in James Richmond's office. What's the first thing that came to your head? You're signing this. You're signing this paper. You're like, oh my goodness. Like, talk to me about that feeling.
Honestly, as I was signing that paper, I knew I had an opportunity and just to make the best out of it. And I think from there on out, I just tried my best the whole summer. And I think I put a pretty good summer in with work on ice and off ice. And it eventually paid off with making the team this year.
And even going back before signing the paper, you finish off your U16 season with the York Simcoe Express, and then you're kind of going through the OHL draft. Like, did you talk to the Steelheads before? Did you have an idea it could possibly be them? And just what was your reaction? What were you doing when you were drafted?
Yeah, so maybe midway through last season, I had a Zoom call with JR and Mike Doyle, and went pretty good. And coming away from that meeting, I had a pretty good idea that they liked me and wanted to take me. So leading up to the draft, I had maybe a couple teams in mind that wanted me, and I knew third round is second last pick of the night, so it was pretty nerve wracking, but I had faith in it, and eventually got my name called. So
Talk about your off-season program, Owen. It seems like now you're getting bigger now. You're getting older and whatnot. Of course, you're only 16, but talk about your off-season program and what you do.
yeah, so in the last few couple of summers of just go to like a small private gym in south end of Aurora with a couple of my York Simcoe guys. I think there's four of us in there, so we go there probably four days a week, maybe five, and just a good hour of workout, and good to just spend time with the guys too and keep those friendships as well.
Yeah, and talking about that team, I mean, you get to spend years with them, kind of growing up, and then you get to play in the OHL Cup as well. So what was that experience like?
Yeah, so I spent 8 years with York Simcoe, so building up with those guys, I'd like when I first started in York Simcoe, we weren't the greatest team. I think each year we got better and better and built up to U16 where we had a pretty good year, and we had a little shaky run in the OMHAs and got into the OHL Cup in a wild card game, and ended up punching our ticket to OHL Cup, and which was quite the tournament to play in with all those eyes on you. And I think I made the best out of it.
Now, one guy, of course, that graduated from that program, we've talked about this before, Quinton Byfield. Do they have his picture all over the place over there so you guys can get all pumped up?
Uh, they have a couple pictures and jerseys, and his parents are still in the organization, so you see them around the odd time, and you'll see Quentin training back at home in the summer, which is good too.
That's
Have you
awesome.
ever got to skate with him or work with him in any way?
Not recently. I think when he played for York Simcoe, I was in my first year in novice, and I think I remember doing some like a mentor thing where I did something with him, but I don't really remember anything recently. But
That's awesome.
yeah,
Just to get to see somebody like that, in the NHL right now, and he's a guy that went up pretty early to the NHL, right? And
yeah.
from the Sudbury Wolves organization. But Owen, talk about this year so far. How different is it? Of course, we all know how the speed's a lot faster, of course, in the OHL compared to the OJ, whatnot. What else have you learned on the side with Matt Chiarantano? How much has he helped you?
Yeah, he's been great. So last year I went to Everest Academy, and he would come to our school maybe once a week and run D specific practices. So that's when he first got his eyes on me, and since then I've learned tons of things from him, and with making the jump he's been great.
And I mean, you talk about the coaching staff there with Matt, but how about the players? Like, I mean, who are maybe some of the guys that have really kind of integrated you and got you, on the right track here in your first year?
Yeah, the whole team has been great. Just kind of welcoming in, and the decor, especially just like Sova, Von Richter, Harding, Fibiger, pretty much all of them. Leskovar, they've all been great. Kind of teaching me the little things and what not to do and what to fix, and they've been great.
So, you guys were all at the top prospects game last night, against the USA top prospects game, and I heard that you won a trivia contest.
Yes, I did. So
So
I'm
can
not.
you elaborate on that? What did you win? Did you win something, and what was the trivia question? And tell me how this all came about.
Yeah, so like our team split up into like different groups to get rides there. So our
Hmm.
car got there for warm ups, and we were just kind of sitting in the stands. And some guy came up to us and asked if we wanted to be on the jumbotron for a trivia game midway through the first. And all the guys looked at me and said, "Kartsy wants to do it." So I ended up doing it halfway through the first. And it was one of those games where they like you got to match the duos of the cards, and they mix it around.
Hmm. Oh
So
yeah.
so I ended up get them all right and won the whole team Kabuto hats.
Wow, look at that, eh? You see? Oh
Yeah.
my goodness, you won them all Kubota hats, and they should all be buying you dinner because of that.
That's right.
That's
Yes.
amazing. That's
Shit. Now,
right.
now, now, did they volunteer you because they knew you were good at trivia, or because you were a rookie
Because
and
you're
they
a
wanted to
rookie.
make you do that?
Yeah.
I think it was because I was yeah. So
That's awesome.
it's not that bad though.
Yeah, it's fun though, right? Like that's
Yeah.
fun stuff.
Yeah. Exactly.
So you guys had some good bonding time and stuff and whatnot. Never mind about that, but well, that's one of the things I'm trying to say. But what else? What else like who you guys all hang around each other? Like who's a guy that you really lean on the team, like to talk to for advice? That's what I'm trying to ask, I guess.
I think Von Richter and Harding are definitely guys that I can just learn from and feel pretty open with, and chat with them on the ice, and just kind of
Hmm.
they're good. They're both defense, and I like to bring some of their game into my game, so I like to learn from them.
And then on the ice, are there guys playing in the OHL that maybe you grew up playing with or against that you notice on the ice, and it's pretty cool that you're kind of playing together in this setting?
Yeah, so one of my good friends that we played on York Simcoe for maybe last 6 or 7 years, Colin Ellsworth, he's on Guelph.
Right.
So we played them in an exhibition game, and I think we played them once, and we got them next week in our
Yeah.
school games. So it's always special to see another buddy from home playing against.
I believe he's is he the number two guy right now? in
Yeah, I
Guelph?
think so. Yeah, so he's
Who's
getting the
who's
odd
behind
game, and
Gillespie? Okay.
yeah,
Right. I thought that Jovanovski got up, and then I guess they're just kind of flip flopping, maybe those
yeah,
two. I have no idea.
exactly.
But
Yeah.
that's great. That's great. All right. So what are some of the things you like to do off of the ice, Owen? Like we know nothing about you.
Uh,
So tell the people about you. What do you like to do off the ice?
Off the ice, like off season, I love going to the cottage and
Okay.
spending time with my friends up there, and love fishing and going on the sea and then I also like building things like puttering around the garage and building some random thing out of wood or something and working with my hands and then the odd sport I'll get into too.
You seem
What's
like a
the
math kind of guy. Yeah.
what's the latest thing that you've built?
A couple of years ago I made like a outdoor cage for like
Oh
my
wow.
cat.
Oh, okay.
Nice. That's
And
cool.
then uh next summer I think I'm gonna make a bench out of my broken sticks.
Hmm.
Wow. So you're
Like
like you're like a big handyman, huh?
yeah, I try
You could
to.
have you could have
Just
helped
kind
me with drywall down here.
of
You're for a drywall kind of guy. That's impressive, man. That's
yeah.
impressive. So yeah, what else? Like you like to go to the cottage, you like to fish. Obviously, you look like a fishing kind of guy. I could totally see you just chilling on the boat, right?
Yeah,
Fishing kind of guy.
exactly.
What's the biggest fish you ever caught?
To be honest, cottage, our lake at the cottage is not the best fishing. Like
Okay.
it's just 90% bass. So
Oh,
like
okay.
I've caught some decent bass there, but it's nothing else other than bass.
How about sunfish?
No, nothing.
No.
Or
Oh.
actually, there's the golf course I work at. There's there's like ponds in there, so the odd time you'll fish in there, and we'll get tons of sunfish and stuff. But it's like
Nice.
the ponds in there are so stocked. Like I think one night I went there and maybe got 22 within 2 hours.
Oh my.
Every
Wow.
cast is a fish.
Yeah, it's like so easy in those ponds. I know what you're
Yeah,
saying. For the
yeah,
sunfish, it's like, oh, I got one. You think it's oh, it's a sunfish, another
exactly.
sunfish. Yeah, I hear you. Yeah.
How about any trout? Do you catch any trout?
Nothing yet. No.
No, no trout. Okay.
I
You
would have
said
thought
there
for
that
sure you
you
would have caught a trout.
that you get into the odd sport. Like, did you play any other sports growing up?
Yeah, I played AAA baseball as well until probably 3 years ago, and it's kind of tough to play two high-end sports nowadays. Like you got to kind of pick one, and I was a lot better at hockey than baseball, and I loved it a lot more, so I picked hockey. But
Owen,
And I
were you a
asked,
catcher?
yeah.
uh, at the end of my career,
I
I was
knew
a
it.
little bit of a catcher, but
I knew it.
center field, little bit of pitcher.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I was gonna guess outfield. You got this long strides you could
yeah,
track down
the
some
diving
Yeah.
prospects.
catches. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Owen. If there's one guy right now, I mean, you've got into quite a bit of games this year. If there's one guy that you have a personal little rivalry with, who would it be? Not on the
Uh,
team, on another team, obviously.
uh,
Anyone that you could say that I hate, this guy, oh, I gotta play against this guy kind of thing. You know what I mean?
there's a
Come on,
guy
it's
in
gotta be
Ottawa.
somebody.
There's a guy in Ottawa, Chase Yanni.
Yes.
Yep.
We got into it a little bit at the end of the game, and I went to
Oh, I
school with
remember that.
him probably 2 years ago, and
All right. So we
Okay.
know it's Chase Yanni. So we're gonna remember that when next time we play the Ottawa 67s. So next time we play the Ottawa 67s, he's gonna be watching this. He's gonna put it on. No, I'm joking. But anyway, that's kind of cool. Everybody has their own rivalry kind of guy. That's
yeah.
the thing. We ask everybody the same question. Sorry, Brendan.
Yeah. No, is there like is there a team maybe per se that you kind of feel like there's more of a rivalry against when you go out there? Like I know we've had kind of some big rivals like Brantford and when they were Hamilton, with the Steelheads. But for you, is there
Yeah.
kind of a team that you feel the game's kind of different?
Yeah, I think Barrie right now it's just two top teams in the same division and kind of a close like distance from each other. So our fans go there, their fans come here, so it's always tight game and good game to play in.
Good atmosphere too, right?
Yeah,
Playing
yeah.
over there in Barrie and playing when they come to Brampton and whatnot. So, so like what like tell us more about yourself, Owen. I know. Okay, we know you like baseball. Do you like steak?
I love steak actually.
Okay.
Love a good keg steak, or my dad makes a good steak too. So
All right. So, how do you like your steak?
medium rare.
Yeah.
Yeah,
All right. You're good. You're
yeah.
good.
Mikey
Okay. You're good with me.
Mikey likes to make sure that everybody eats their steak
Thank God.
medium rare.
Yeah, you
Just
can't
kind of like
go wrong with medium rare.
Yeah. Okay. Good boy. That's what I like to hear.
All
That's
right.
what I like to
Oh,
hear.
yes. Thank you. Thanks for coming on here, talking to us. Obviously, it's a busy time of the year, and you've
Yeah.
been playing some great hockey in your rookie year. So thanks so much for coming on, and good luck the rest of the season. We'll see you around the rink.
Keep
Thank
up
you,
the great
guys.
work.
Thanks for having me.
No problem.
All right, that was Steelheads rookie defenseman Owen Cartwright here on Trout Talk on Saga 960 AM, and we will be back right after this. And welcome back to Trout Talk here on Saga 960 AM. I'm Brendan Lang along with Mikey K, Mike Karafilidis, two broadcasters of the Brampton Steelheads. Thanks for coming along, and thank you to Owen Cartwright for coming on the program. Great conversation with him. The last two episodes, we got to talk to the most recent draft picks of the Steelheads that have been getting some opportunities here in this season. We talked to Troy Patton last week, now Owen Cartwright this week, and again, I mean, it's the same sentiment about when we see these players, when we talk to them. They all kind of, fit the same mold. And I think that that's obviously done by intention by the coaching staff and James Richmond at the head.
Yeah, I mean he's another one. Like those two, uh, you could tell they're going to be pros. They've been working really hard lately, and it's nice to, we see Troy Patton get on the ice. Just talk about Troy Patton for a second, and he works his butt off every time he gets out there. Same with Owen Cartwright back there. And what I like about Owen Cartwright is he's getting a lot better back there, that's for sure. And he's getting a lot more confident every time he gets into the game. And I notice every time he plays with Spencer Sova, he doesn't, but never mind just with Sova, just in general, he makes the right play. He doesn't force anything. He doesn't try to make anything too extravagant. When you have to use the boards, he knows to use the boards. He won't put that puck up the middle. They say hockey 101, never put that puck up the middle. I've never seen him do it yet. So he's a really, really good sound defenseman. I think he's got a really good future for the Steelheads moving forward.
Yeah, I mean, I completely agree. I think, you're going to start to see obviously more confidence as he goes along and as he continues to play in more games, and possibly, that offensive side of it can always come from that. But the defensive side, I mean, he already is great in his own zone, knowing where to be without the puck too, I think is a big thing as well. Boxing out in front of the net, making sure that there's, nothing too crazy going on in front. He's very strong too for a rookie,
Yeah.
rookie player as well. So he just does, a lot of little things right. I think that's kind of the best way to say it. That like you said, there's no big mistakes. Sometimes when you get young players, they maybe try to do too much, and you see some big mistakes come out of it. But I haven't seen that at all in the games that he's had to play. And just like Troy Patton, he's had to get into more games probably than he expected to. Like, coming into the year, it's a team that's likely trying to go for a Memorial Cup. You're a 16-year-old, probably. I remember talking to him earlier in the year, and he said like half the games, if I get into that, like I'd be happy with that. And they've kind of talked to the coaching staff, but it's had to be more than that. And he's definitely, stepped up to the task. And that's what has to happen. You have to have guys step in when you have injuries like they have. And he's been one of the guys to do that.
Yes, exactly. And I like the way he, as you said, boxes out and he plays in his own zone. Of course, yeah. I like how he finishes his checks. And when he finishes his checks, he'll hold up the guy against the boards, like, the right way. You know what I mean? And he'll pin that puck up on the boards with his skate. And I love the way he does, the little things, as you said. So, and he's just going to get better. I mean, he's just a rookie. He's just a rookie for the love of God. So, yeah, good kid. Really, really nice kid. How you like that? Winning a Kubota hats for everybody at the CHL, the Top Prospect USA, Top Prospect thing. That's amazing, right? So good for him. And I hope the team watches this. They better buy him dinner or something like that. So
Yeah, I agree. I think that's definitely in the cards for for him after
that's
that
great.
trivia
Yeah.
performance yesterday.
Smart kid. Smart
Yes,
kid.
that's right. Okay, so
And he can, yeah. All right.
yeah, let's get into some games coming up this weekend. Now they're going to be played on Friday and Saturday, so we will the games will be done by the time that this comes out. But we got a road trip here, Mikey. We're going out to Sarnia and Saginaw, two tough places to play. Two teams that work hard, and I know Sarnia struggled a little bit recently, but when they played in Brampton, I mean, you saw the compete and the effort level that they gave. It's not going to be an easy game going down there in Sarnia to play them.
No, they can see, and that's I think the first time the Steelheads played them, I feel maybe that the Steelheads maybe got a little bit cocky. I think maybe. I don't know. Because Sarnia was coming in struggling. And then what happened? They got outworked. Sarnia beat them. They got outworked. Serzicha was really, really good in net.
Yeah.
And he always seems to play well against Brampton, Mississauga as well when they're the Mississauga Steelheads. So they got a good goalie. They work really hard. They got a good coach in Alan Letang, who is probably one of the best coaches in the league as well. Uh, they got some good young talent. They got Easton Wainwright over there. They got Filak over there. First pick Alessandro Diorio. So so they got some good young talent, and the Steelheads got to be ready to play. They got to be ready to compete right from the opening whistle. Can't be like Sault Ste. Marie. I'm going to say for last game. It can't be from the beginning where Sault Ste. Marie was dominating them. Jack Ivankovic pretty much had to, bail them out a little bit. 20 shots on goal in the first period for Sault Ste. Marie, right? So can't have that against Sarnia, especially in their barn. It's a tough barn to play in. And so they got to outwork them. That's number one. Just outwork them and they should be okay.
Yeah, I think it's big too, and the Steelers have done a pretty good job of starting off well in games this year. I think that was a little bit of a blip there in that game against the
Right.
Sault Ste. Marie Greyhounds. But you're right. I mean, especially on the road, it's tough when you get off to a bad start and you're just playing from behind the eight ball. Especially in a place like Sarnia, the crowd's going to be rocking on Friday night. So it's it's definitely something that if you can get out, if you can take the crowd out of it early, it's always a big plus when you're playing a team like that. And like you said, they got a lot of young talent. I mean, it's not just like it's, a hardworking team that doesn't really have much there. They got a ton of young talent, and
Oh,
they're a
yeah.
team that I think will be really good in a couple of years.
Oh, for sure. And one guy that's going to go back there. Too bad it wasn't two guys that are going back there that got drafted by the Sarnia Sting, Porter Martone and Angus McDonnell. Angus McDonnell, unfortunately, probably won't be in the lineup for that game, but Porter Martone will. So he's always into that extra push in Porter Martone's step every time he plays. He loves to play against Sarnia, so especially in their barn. So we'll see what happens there. It should be a good one, and but they got to get traffic because the last time they played against each other, I didn't find that they had enough traffic in front of Serzicha. They need more of that in front of them. So we'll see what happens. Should be a good game though.
Yeah, like you said, Serzicha played well, and that's kind of due to that fact where he kind of saw all the shots and there was not a whole lot, going on in front of him. So you have that game on Friday, then you have the game in Saginaw on Saturday. The
Yeah.
Steelheads heading out to Michigan, and another, I mean, a tough game against a team that we know about. We know about Michael Misa. We know about the points that he's putting up and the season that he's having in his draft year. But not just him. I mean, they got a lot of guys on that team that are quality players. And again, it's going to be, it's definitely not easy to go into these places and win road games in this league.
No, definitely not. And it's a back-to-back, second of a back-to-back, and Sarnia. Then right after Sarnia, up to Saginaw. Not easy. So yeah, they got. I mean, Michael Misa, of course. We know it's going to be the battle of the Misa brothers, and we know how they like to play against each other in a friendly way. Of course, Michael Misa. I thought he played pretty well in that CHL USA Top
Yeah.
Prospects game, right? In the same line as Martone, but they got him. They got Joey Willis as well, a guy that could score goals. On the back end, Zane Perek. It'll be interesting to see Zane Perek actually. He took a match penalty against the Windsor Spitfires. We don't know yet. I'm wondering if he's going to be. I think a match penalty is an automatic 2-game suspension. So for a cross check to the face on Martin on Windsor. So I actually had somebody that sent that to me and said, "What do you think? Is this 5?" I'm like, well, I don't know. I guess so. So it kind of looked a little bit whatever, but I'm pretty sure for match penalty, so it's 2 games. So it'll be interesting to see if Zane Perek's playing in that game. The league is going to review that. That's up to the league. But another good defenseman they have back there, Andrew Oak, another good goaltender, of course, has
Yeah.
played like almost every game for the Saginaw Spirit, right? I mean, they got Caleb Papineau, and he played against the Windsor Spitfires. I think they lost like 7-0 or something, or 7-1 or whatever it was. So yeah, so anticipate Andrew Oak to play against the Steelheads, and it's going to be tough because these guys they forecheck, Brendan. They come
Yeah.
hard at you. And they got Epperson up there,
Mm-hmm.
Christian Epperson. I remember he scored running in overtime against the
5
Steelheads.
seconds in. Yeah.
Right, so they're a tough team. They come at you and they come at you hard. So you better get that puck out of there, and especially on their defense, forecheck on their defense, get some turnovers over there, and otherwise, if they start getting on the defense, and Steelheads can't get it out of there. Look out! It's going to be a tough night for the Steelheads.
For sure. And you said, Andrew Oak plays a lot of games. I just looked at his stats here. I knew he played
Yeah,
a lot of games. So he's played 20 games this year.
almost every
Caleb
game.
Caleb Papineau has played 4 games
4 games
for them.
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
so yes, Andrew Oak always in the net for Saginaw. He's a good one though. Like, I mean, he's
Yeah,
a guy back there that's always solid. So
good
that
goal.
should be
Yeah,
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 should be a good weekend here on the road. And
good
then
coaching.
we definitely need to talk about the school day game coming up because
Oh
that's going to be
yes,
on Wednesday
yes.
after this airs. That's
Hmm.
a first school day game of the year. I do think there's 2 of them this season
Yeah,
in Brampton. This first one against the Guelph Storm, and last year was against the Guelph Storm, I think, as well. So
went to
a little
overtime
interesting
last year.
here that
Yeah.
that we get to see the Guelph Storm again. But school day always a great initiative to get all the kids out there, and the first
Oh
time it's
yeah.
going to be in Brampton.
Yeah, that's going to be a lot of fun, right? So, uh, wow, yeah, it's going to be a different Storm team though from the last time they played each other when it was a 10-1 game. Guelph Storm had a ton of injuries. Arlickson was out of the lineup. Luchenko just came back. You could tell he was just kind of a little bit rusty that game and whatnot. Uh, they're going to have a lot of guys back for that game. Uh, yeah, so it's going to be a lot better Guelph Storm team, that's for sure, and it's going to be a good challenge. I mean, Gillespie's really good in net. Cam Allen back there on defense. Like I said, Arlickson up there, Carabella up there, Jet Luchenko up there. They got some talent, and they got, of course, Quinn Beauchene. How can I forget about Quinn Beauchene as
Mhm.
well? Another talented player for the Storm. So again, you got to outwork them. Corey Stillman coach team. You got to outwork a Corey Stillman coach team, and you win. You don't outwork a Corey Stillman coach team, you lose. Bottom line. And I'm sure James Richmond, same thing. You outwork a James Richmond team, you win because these are coaches that are good coaches, and they're both well established.
Yeah, 100%. And you always look forward to those games too, because the energy in the building is there
Mm-hmm.
right from the start. So it's always interesting to see that. But yeah, this Guelph team, like you said, it's a different team than when the Steelheads won 10-1. So I hope that there's not too much of thought from the team of that game that they won 10-1, because obviously it's going to be a different test coming up this time. And I think it's interesting too. Jet Luchenko, a guy who was loved by John Tortorella in Philadelphia, coming
Yeah.
back. So obviously that's a huge piece to get back. You said, it was his first game back. He was kind of just getting into the swing of things, playing with Guelph again. So it'll be interesting to see him. Even a guy who's leading the team in points right now, a defenseman in Cam Allen on the back
Mm-hmm.
end with 20 points in 21 games. So it's a team that will definitely pose some issues for the Steelheads, and it should be a good one on school day.
I'm interested to see though Guelph Storm. I mentioned this on the broadcast, Brendan, on Sunday against the Sioux Greyhounds. It's going to be interesting to see what the Guelph Storm do at the trade deadline. It really is going to be interesting because um, they got I feel they have some talent that they can, like, they're not going to compete this year. There's no doubt in my mind they're not going to compete for a championship. Right? They might make the playoffs, but championship,
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Yep.
So they definitely have some guys, assets to sell. And the rumor mills fly about Luchenko going here. Luchenko's going to go there, trade deadline, whatnot. Cam Allen's going to go somewhere, whatnot. So it'll be interesting to see what they do at the trade deadline, right? So, but this month is going to be very, very key for them. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, 100%. Like you said, it's not the year for them, obviously, to contend. You could see them making the playoffs. I mean, they're not too far out of it right now, sitting in last place in the Western Conference. But with 8 teams making it, there's always an opportunity for you to get in. All right, so we got about 5 minutes left here before we wrap things up, but we got to talk about the CHL prospect game against the U.S. National Development Program. 2 Steelheads, Porter Martone, who's the captain of Team CHL, and Jack Ivankovic. Ivankovic gets into the second game. Just kind of, what did you think of the whole sort of mini tournament, I guess you could call it, between the 2 sides?
Well, I'm gonna be honest with you. The first game was kind of it was all CHL, right? I mean, USA couldn't really do anything. I know they didn't have James Higgins playing in the game for their top prospect, the USA. But I don't understand one thing. Why can't NCAA players play in that game? I think that's what killed maybe the U.S. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just because it's one team, the U.S.
Because it's the
National Development
development, right?
Program.
Okay.
Yeah, like
So
it's
do you
not.
think
Yeah,
maybe? So do you think maybe if they were allowed to, maybe NCAA players were allowed to kind of jump in here? But I know it's just the National Development Program, and whatnot. But
yeah, I think that's yeah.
but what I think about that's what I mean. What I think about that game, yeah, CHL dominated in the first game. I think they dominated in the second
They
game
did.
too.
Yeah, they did.
Right. So what I think about Porter Martone, he was absolutely phenomenal. He was all over the ice. He played on a line. It was pretty much him and Misa, and well, him and Misa were just absolutely phenomenal playing together. So, and don't forget, these guys have been good. These guys are good friends, right? They know each other and
Mhm.
whatnot. So, yeah, he was great all over the ice. Ivan Kovic, yeah, he got in the second game. Made some really, really key saves near the end of the game to keep that game tied when it was 1-1 at the time, right? And he's so quick, Jack Ivankovic. He's so good at at positioning and whatnot. So just an overall game. But I was really impressed with the both of them.
Yeah, I was too. I think, like you said, Martone. It's kind of what he does with Brampton. It's like maybe obviously he puts up the points as well, but even outside of that, he just does so much on the ice that could go unnoticed as well. Besides the points, and I think that's kind of even more so what makes him the draft prospect that he is. And then I thought he
Hmm.
looked really good as well. And then Ivan Kovic, like you said, I mean, there was 2 or 3 saves in that third period, and it's tough when you don't see a lot of shots. I think they only had 12 in the game, the U.S. Team did. So
Hmm.
when you don't see a lot of shots, sometimes it's tough to stay engaged in the game. But obviously, he was able to do it and made some big saves down the stretch. A couple other OHL players, I think that I noticed quite a bit watching that game. One was Malcolm Spence. We know about
Oh
him
yeah.
playing in Erie, and then also Matthew Schaefer. He looked
Oh
amazing in those 2 games on the back end as well for the CHL team.
yeah. Those two are really good. I mean, you could tell you know why Matthew Schaefer is going to be a top 4 pick for
Yeah.
sure. Some guys have him a number 1. Some guys have a number 2, 3, 4, whatnot. Uh, for me, he's going to be top 4 wherever he goes. Team's going to get a beauty. I mean, this guy goes into that hard. He's very, very smart on the back end. He knows exactly where to go and whatnot. I mean, he's just an overall great defenseman, right? And those are the kind of guys you like. And you got to like Malcolm Spence, another guy for the Erie Otters too. As you said, the way he finds the open spaces too,
Mhm.
he's able to get to the dirty areas, Malcolm Spence, and get those goals. And he's got a great shot as well. He's very, very high IQ as well. So both of these guys, I think Malcolm Spence should be top 15 in my opinion, maybe. But Matthew Schaefer will be top 4.
Yeah, I think so too. And I think even for Matthew Schaefer in his draft year, I think there's a possibility of maybe a World Junior,
Yeah,
call getting to play in that. I think we'll see, maybe a couple Steelheads playing in that. But I could see that for Matthew Schaefer as well. So looking forward to that. It's actually coming up pretty soon. The World
yeah,
Juniors now. I mean, there's going to be
one
some guys
month. Oh my
going
gosh.
to training camp pretty soon. So
Hmm.
should
I
be
wonder when
should be
that is.
interesting to see. Yeah, I don't know exactly when it starts,
December
but I think
8th. I'm
it'll.
hearing the 8th or
Is
something.
it okay?
Is that?
Okay, yeah.
I don't know. I'm hearing. I don't know for sure. But
And
7th,
and
8th, 6th, 7, 8th. I don't know, something like that. But
eh,
I think probably the last game for this for uh is going to be the 6th for any
play. Okay, yeah.
or for before the 6th probably, and then they're going to go to training camp. Whoever gets invited. But anyways,
Right.
so
And the
yeah,
tournament this year in Ottawa too, so pretty close.
right,
Not too much travel for anybody playing, in the OHL and around here. All
exactly.
right. So we will finish things off there. Mikey, quickly, we got like 2 minutes left. If you got anything for me, let's hear it.
All right. Okay. Well, I don't. You know what? I really don't got much.
Okay.
Just this time, watch where you're going, and if somebody bumps into you or you bump into somebody, it's nice of them to say, "Oh, sorry, my sorry about that," or if somebody doesn't say sorry, then get out. That bothers me. That's all I have to say. So say, if somebody
Yeah.
I just be nice. Somebody bumps into me, and I'd say by accident, for example, you're in the grocery store. I'll say, you're like, oh, sorry about that. But, and if somebody bumps you, they don't say anything. They look at you like they wanna, give you a Coco Beware headbutt or something or whatnot, right? And you know what I mean. And it's just like you look at them and they just look at you, and it's like, come on, really, just be nice, people. Life's too short. That's all I have to say.
Yeah, be nice, be cordial in those situations, Hey,
Cordial.
it's
That's a good
yeah,
word. I like that
big
word.
words on Trout Talk. That's what we do here. All right, we will finish things off with that.
All right.
Brendan Lang, Mikey K, thank you so much for
Excuse me.
listening. We talked about it on the show, but we do have the school day coming up. That's on Wednesday, so should be good. A couple games this past weekend as well. So thank you so much for listening. This is Trout Talk here on Saga 960 AM, and have a great day, everyone.